So, how's everyone doing today on this Super Saturday, August the 12th, year 2023? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. I'm curious about something. Why is so many people resistant to change? Meaning, how come so many people don't want to invest or they're scared to? I think a lot of people are cowards about investing. Anyway, with that being said, I'll talk on that topic a bit more. Anyway, I'm Mazske Finance. I'm not a financial advisor, not a CPA, not an attorney, and I'm not a doctor or nutritionist. Anyway, if you're watching my channel, you're not one of those folks. But odds are you know people like that, right? If you do, comment below, please. Let me know. Do you ever talk to anyone about investing? Any friends, family, coworkers? How resistant are people to doing that? I asked that question seriously. And let me know below. And feel free to subscribe, click the thumbs up, etc., etc., etc. I'm on a quest to get to 700 or is it 800 subscribers, whatever my next number is. It's approaching, I think 672, I think that's what I saw. I can't remember. Anyway, maybe we just get to 1,000, then it'll be easier to remember. I got 1,000 subscribers, woohoo, we'll throw a party. So that being said, why are so many people resistant to change in regards to investing or to being healthy? Now, in your circle of friends, you may have a circle that they do like to invest. You may have a circle they like to be healthy. Maybe you work out. So if you work out, maybe you go to a gym. Odds are I used to work out for many, many, many years, always in a gym. I become friends with a variety of different people who work out. And they continue to work out. Some drop off and don't work out. But how many of them eat healthy? Because living in the world we live in, it's so hard to eat healthy. Living in the world we live in, it's so hard to invest. Do I say those two statements in jest? Is it that hard to eat healthy? Is it that hard to invest? I'll say this. There can be a challenge to it. I understand that. It can take some willpower. I understand that. It can take some motivation. I understand that. It can take some education. I understand that. How many of you out there, let me ask you another serious question. Feel free to post the answer below. How many of you all like to read? Seriously, read. It could be blogs. It could be books. It could be magazines. It could be articles, blogs, etc., etc., etc. How many of you like to read? Or do you get all your information from YouTube University or the TV screen and whatever channels you get? How do you get your information? I personally believe you can get a much, much better education by reading. I don't talk politics. I don't like politics. I hate politics with a passion. But the only thing I'll say is that for the majority of Americans who follow politics and are like die hard this or die hard red, die hard blue, they do it because they watch a TV channel where when the person who's trained to be a professional speaker, they have emotion, they create drama, and they get people fired up about whichever side it is. But if you could read the same information without the added drama and emotion in their voice and their demeanor, you might come to a different conclusion about whatever that topic is, okay? It's the same way with investing. You can read stuff about how hard it is to beat the market in regards to the stock market. The strong majority of people I have spoken with in my life who do invest at all in the stock market usually do it with a 401k, 457 plan, something like that, because they're intimidated about picking stocks. They don't know how to do it. No one teaches it in school. No one taught it in college. And so on and so on and so on. But if you go to college, you can take business classes and learn how to read and digest certain numbers. I studied business. I had a minor in accounting. Back when I went to college, I did all those accounting, the balance sheets, the income statements, all that stuff. Did it by hand. We get the formula or the problem and have to write it out, all the lines and everything, and if you got one little mistake in there, that's a point off. So I got an A+ in every single one of those classes. Because in the Navy, they taught me attention to detail. Attention to detail. Take attention. If you pay attention to detail, the big problems will somehow magically take care of themselves by paying attention to detail. So getting back to it, why are people resistant to both investing and living healthy? Look around. Look at the vehicles we drive. How many people drive a nice, expensive vehicle? How many people, if you ask them about it, will say, well, I need it to get to work? I laugh for a couple reasons. One, I'm a multi-millionaire. My personal car that I drive is a 2009 Toyota Camry. I have a son. I have two sons. They're both officers in the Coast Guard. My oldest son is a commanding officer of a boat. He's told me something to the effect, he's like, Dad, out of my entire boat crew, I have the worst car of everyone. Going down to the lowest enlisted person in the E2, I don't think it was the E1, the E2, the E3, the E4, up to everyone else. He's the top dog. He's the commanding officer. He drives the worst car. That's just a sign of times. We see the grass greener on the other side. We see the new Jeep, the new Toyota, the new Tesla, the new Honda, the new Hyundai, the new Kia, whatever it might be. We just can't resist. When you go in the grocery store, if you go to the grocery store, and you see the pre-made food, or you see the cucumbers and the tomatoes and the squash and the garlic and the onions and the peppers and carrots and mushrooms, is that too hard? Because you gotta, how do you eat it? How many of you grew up with gardens? I grew up, my dad had 2 gardens. I was one of 5 kids. He had to feed us. He had 2 gardens. One, a lot of times, some years was all squash or all strawberries for a couple years. The other, the big garden, was a little bit of everything. Okay, so I've had gardens for many years in my life too. It's not that hard. You know, granted, I'm here by myself right now. My spouse is outside of the U.S. So it's harder to cook for one than it is to cook for 2 or 3 or 4. You know, it gets easier as you get more people. It does get easier to cook a little bit. Because if you cook for one, what do? You cook just enough for one. Whatever you cook, you're gonna have leftovers, right? And then you eat the same food. Many times I eat the same meal now 2 days in a row because I'm by myself. I got to do it. But if I could eat it 3 days in a row, you're getting a little tired of it. After 3 days, the same thing in a row, you know. So same thing with investing. I speak to a lot of people about investing. I've spoken to, remember I made a video about can Lori get her first rental house? I haven't seen her since then. But I was in that same establishment, it's a restaurant, the other day by myself. Right, I get a little lazy sometimes too. And I had another waitress. And so I brought up investing with this person. And they said they should teach this in school. Yeah, but they don't. And then she kind of walked away. So when she came back later, I just chit-chat with her a little bit more. And I said, I don't know your financial situation. I was trying to say it in a nice way, but if you can come up with $15,000 or $20,000, I can probably help you get your first rental property. And she's like, oh, no, I'm not ready to get a house yet. And I was like, not a house for you to live in, a rental property where your tenant can pay your mortgage. Oh, no, I'm not ready for that. Maybe in 5 or 10 years I'll be ready. That was it. And we didn't talk any more about it. I know not to beat a dead horse. I didn't write nothing like that. But why isn't she ready? I don't know her age, mid-20s. Well, why isn't she ready? Why does she feel like it's too much? I mean, I don't know. I don't know that answer. But so many people will say something to that effect. They're not ready. They can't afford to. I understand if you have too much debt, you got to pay that debt down. We've talked about this. If you got debt, or if you want to save up cash and you don't have enough cash, what do? Can you get a better job, make more money? Can you work overtime? Can you stop spending your money and pay some of the debt down? But if you have a lot of debt, yes, you got to pay it down. But at some point, It's okay to have a little bit of debt just to get started with investing, because the problem is people have a little bit of debt as they pay it down and they decide to get into more debt. And that day never comes where they invest. Never. And all of a sudden they wake up and they're 55, 60 years old. It's like, oh my, I'll never be able to retire. Never. A lot of people say that when they get to that age. They'll never be able to retire. Okay. So where are you at on this spectrum of life? Are you investing? Do you want to invest? Are you intimidated by investing? Let me know. Are there any topics? If you're, be vague about it if you want. Don't tell me who you are. Just have a code name on YouTube if you're that way. But let me know you're intimidated. Why are you intimidated? What can I talk about? Because I was a little guy. I did not have a lot of money in my life, and I started investing. What can I talk about to help you to overcome that fear? What about eating healthy? Is there anything I can talk about? Can I tell you about the 2 kiwis I ate today? Could I tell you about the handful of walnuts and cashews and peanuts that I had earlier? Or my bowl of steel-cut oatmeal that I cooked on the stove and put in flax seeds, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, sliced almonds, blackberries and blueberries, and almond milk. No, I'm sorry, soy milk. All right, unsweetened soy milk. Or my cup of coffee that I hacked it with turmeric, black pepper, ginger, and cinnamon. Can you do the same thing? I'm not telling you to copy me, but it's, tomorrow's my egg day. I will have mushrooms and red pepper and red onion and some garlic cut up and sauteed in extra virgin olive oil. Then I'll put in 2 eggs and I'll scramble it all together. Then I'll have it with blackberries and blueberries. I'll basically put the blueberries and blackberries on the plate. I'll put my egg on top of it, and I eat it just like that. It's delicious with my same cup of coffee, hacked coffee. That's just breakfast, okay? Can you make one meal a day a little bit healthier? Can you make one meal a little bit more diversified where you're getting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different plant items in that one meal? And even if you eat crap the rest of the day, at least you ate that one good meal. Can you get down on the floor? Get a mat if you need it. And do a set of 20 push-ups and a set of 50 crunches and do 15 or 20 reps on body weight squats. Can you do that? Can you stretch out a little bit? Can you crack your back so you don't have to go to a chiropractor? Can you try a little bit of yoga? Go to YouTube, look up Adrienne's yoga, I think it is, or she has some pretty complicated stuff, but there's some basic stuff. It's free. If you got a TV like I do, a smart TV, which most people have better TVs than I have, put a yoga thing on there. There's lots of yoga people on there, and just in the privacy of your own home, try it out. Get a basic class, because you can hurt yourself with yoga. So get a basic class, okay? Can you get some exercise bands? Can you get your first rental house? Can you do it? What other guidance do you need? I know I have a lot of videos. I know I can't tell you to go back and watch all my videos on my channel. I do have a playlist, 0 to 25 rentals in 4 years. I do have a playlist of interviews with others where a lot of other people talk about how they get started. Okay, I encourage you to watch those videos. If nothing else, watch those and see. Maybe it can be what can spur you to get started, or maybe if you got a hump you got to get over. Maybe it can push you over that hump just so you can keep on going. Maybe you got to do something drastic. Look at me. I'm trying to sell my house, right? It's not selling. If a house doesn't sell, what do? You cut the price or you improve the house. To improve the house takes a little bit of money. Cut the price, you're making less money. So what am I thinking about doing? I am thinking about turning this house into a vacation home. I am going to rehab the inside if I do that, and it's going to take a little chunk of money. I'm trying to pursue a way of getting some money, which I think will be successful. But if I'm not successful, I can take my cash, maybe not do it as extensive of a rehab, but still do a little bit and test it out. I can get and move to the country of Panama like I want to. I have a nicer house. If it doesn't work out, well, if I have to, I can always come back. But if it works out, maybe I get a little extra money then. And I can complete the rehab on this house, make it even nicer, And maybe when the cyclical real estate market that's going down is going back up, I'm not going to try to time it, but if prices are going back up, somewhere on that journey up, if I still want to sell it, I will put it for sale at hopefully a higher price, and we'll see what happens. Or maybe 20 years from now, I'm still renting this house. I'm flexible. I try to go with the flow. If something doesn't work, it's like an old Charlie Brown thing. Charlie Brown Lucy kept pulling the football out when he ran up to kick time after time. But if it was me, eventually I learned. And I hold the football myself and kick it. So if I fail at something, I usually learn from it. And I reevaluate and move on. Like I could be talking about Panama all these times, and if I go to Panama, I'm not the kind of person to say it's 6 months into it if I'm floundering. I don't have any pride. I don't care. I'll come back to the United States. I'm not embarrassed about it and sell all my stuff. Like there are people that sell all their stuff. I am selling all my stuff. But there are people that sell their stuff without ever having gone to Panama or any other foreign country, and they just jump. They don't speak the language. They don't know the culture. I've been to Panama many, many, many times. I lived there for 2.5 years. My spouse is from there. My kids were there as babies. My kids were there as kids. My kids were there as adults. And so on and so on and so on. I know what I'm getting myself into if I go there. And I like it. I told a person last night when I was walking, I'm ready for another adventure. You know, when I was in the Navy, I had an adventure. I'd go to new places. When I was a cop, I had an adventure. I'd see people with guns and knives or drunk or on meth or fentanyl or whatever it is, you know. Now I'm retired, financially independent. I swim, I walk, I exercise, I eat healthy. Ready for another adventure. I want to get out and do something. I went on a hot air balloon ride back in 1987, 1988 out in Colorado. I like to do it again. I've gone whitewater rafting in Harpers Ferry, Virginia, and the Arkansas River in Colorado, or some river in Colorado, whitewater rafting. I went skydiving up in Sandwich, Illinois. I used to own a motorcycle. I'll probably never buy another motorcycle. I'll probably never skydive again. Skydiving just wasn't like big whip. It wasn't that big a deal to me. Hot air balloon. I like to do that again. That was, out of everything I've done, that was probably the most enjoyable, stimulating, not challenging. I didn't do anything. I just rode in a basket. But it was better than almost anything. Like zip line. You ever been on a zip line? It's kind of cool. And so on and so on and so on. But anyway, I'm digressing, aren't I? Have you started investing yet? Have I said anything that can help motivate you to start investing or to eat just a little bit healthier? Let me know below. I'm trying to encourage some comments here. Let's get a conversation going, shy folks out there. All right. So with that being said, I got a busy day today. I do need to get in that pool and do some swimming. The sky is still clear. No storm right on the horizon. And I am hungry. It's lunchtime. So with that being said, have a great day. Maskies signing out.